come and lead us in the pledge, please?
Both.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Armed. Both. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you. You may be seated. Lauren, can you do the roll call?
Yes. Al.
present.
Teresa. Present. Michelle.
Here.
Kate. Here. Gladys.
Here.
Dr. Cronin.
Here.
Lauren here. Juanita.
Here.
Rich.
Here.
And Louisa is not here.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to do our recognition before we move into our agenda, the rest of our agenda.
Well, this is the highlight of the night. Can we have Sarah Cephaloni please come up to the public record area? And Jane Earl, who is the active ranger. Seat for a sec. It's almost as it was as exciting as it was on April 23rd. We get to do it all over again. For those of you who do not know, this is Sarah Cephaloni. She has been named Danbury Public Schools 2024 Teacher of the Year. The award ceremony was held on April 23rd. It was a culmination of a very long 3-month process that involved nominations from colleagues, interview panels at the school level, district-wide interview committees, and then they selected a single standout teacher of more than 700 teachers across the district. So it's no small feat. Before I turn it over to Dana to say a few words, I just want to note, every now and then when a teacher sort of rises to the top of a list like this, it's because her name is on the lips of every person in the district. There's a district-wide recognition of someone's achievements, efforts, kindness, perseverance, their ability to build relationships. And I think the relationship piece for me in talking with everybody who knows you is what stood out the most. And I can only imagine how you've done that in your classroom with your students. That's evidenced in all the testimony that has been provided to us about why you should be Teacher of the Year over and over and over again. You grow students, they love you, you love them, and as a result, they're better for having it in your classroom. So I will turn it over to Dana to also join in with a few words, but thank you, Sarah.
I echo everything that Dr. Casimiro just shared. When people come up to me, even as recent as the retirement dinner this evening, and everyone is like, she is the most deserving teacher of this. They couldn't have chosen a better person. And I know I speak for everybody at Pembroke that we are so proud of you. You are so deserving of this. And myself, the staff, and the students and the parents are so happy we couldn't have chosen a better teacher. Congratulations, Sarah.
Nope.
So I'm not very good at speaking unless it's in front of a room of first graders, but I'll do my best. Thank you, board. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, everybody. I was born and raised in Danbury, went to all Danbury schools, even when faced with unknown circumstances or things that we're just not sure what's going to happen, we stand together and we do what's right for our students because we love them and we care about them. So this honor means more to me than I can possibly express, and colleagues all know that. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This is the Danbury Board of Ed Certificate of Recognition for 2024 Teacher of the Year.
You can edit the shine off. It's a little warm. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
I know we recognize the Teacher of the Year, and that's a very special honor, but we, the board, appreciate each and every one of you that's here tonight, okay? And everyone will have their turn. I might not be around when you come up and receive your certificate, but thank you for all the service that you do for our Danbury school. Thank you.
So up next, another favorite, Spotlight Your School. Mr. Lenny Serlick, Principal Serlick, and the Stanley Ruff Elementary School team.
Good evening, Board of Ed members and admin members. I am Leonard Serlick, Principal of Stanley Ruff.
I'm Jenny Lopez, the Assistant Principal.
So as many others spotlight the school, the main focus of every great school is its staff. And I am honored to be here tonight to give you a glimpse of what our staff is like in our video. Our video was produced by everyone in our building. I sent down an email to everyone saying, please contribute to our spotlight, our school video. Hundreds of pictures came pouring in. Dan DeRuba is one of our fourth grade teacher. He's a movie specialist, so I tapped him on the shoulder to help me out on this one. And together we made a culminating video, some great stuff that we'll share with you in a moment. But I want to highlight the staff. That is the heart and soul of our building. They really are the people that work to do their very best every day to help all our students in Danbury. You can see tonight, as I'm looking around the room, they're not all here for Spotlight Stanley Ruff, obviously. They're here tonight because they are the main part of Danbury schools and Stanley Ruff.
And I just want to say that Stanley Ruff is such a welcoming place. Ever since the first day that I stepped foot in it, everyone welcomed me. The kids gave me a big hug. And the teachers are just also so kind. With every crazy idea that I have, they're all like, okay, let's do it. And they come and they just tell me, okay, we can do it like this. So I'm just so grateful to be in this building.
So please take a look at our video. I hope you enjoy it. And I do offer, my doors are open anytime. Please come and visit Stanley Ruff whenever you like. Stanley Ruff Elementary is more than just a school. It's a vibrant community where learning and growth go hand in hand. Our portrait of a graduate is built on learners, collaborators, advocates, innovators, and communicators. From our instruction, accomplishments, celebrating students and teachers, to our clubs and special events, we are dedicated to instilling core values in our students, shaping them into well-rounded individuals. Our classrooms are alive with the energy of discovery as our students engage in hands-on projects,
new ideas, and celebrate their achievements together. Our teachers always go the extra mile to make sure that their students give their very best. Here at Stanley Ruff.
Our teachers and staff, a diverse group of passionate educators, whether they are new or 20-plus year professionals, are the heart and soul of our school. They bring their unique talents and experiences to the classroom, creating a supportive and inspiring environment where every student feels valued and empowered to reach their full potential. At Stanley Ruff, we believe that together is better. Juntos es mejor. And we're committed to fostering strong relationships between students, teachers, and families. We know that when we work together, we can achieve anything. Cuando trabajamos juntos, podemos alcanzar todas nuestras metas. Every learner, every day, no matter what.
Finally, remember, here at Stanley Ruff, we believe in you. You are enough in love. You have strengths, and we know you will try your best. You can do anything you put your mind to. No matter what happens, know you can turn it around. We will support you and never give up on you. Together is better. Stanley Stallions, have an awesome day!
We had plans to bring Stanley McStallion out here tonight, but at 85 degrees and 100% humidity, I think we canceled that one.
I have one question. Who was in the stallion mascot?
It's Stanley McStallion. That's all we can say.
I'm gonna find out.
Even the kids are trying to guess. They never will find out.
Well, I just want to thank both of you. Every time, I have a running joke with Lenny, every time I go to this building, it's so well run and so well organized. I always say, this is like a German, the kids move through this school like a German train station, right? The kids, like, by clockwork, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Everybody knows what's happening in the building at all times. And it's just such a well-run school, and Jen, you've been such a great addition, and it's been great to see how quickly you've been able to work together, and the staff is certainly a wonderful group of individuals, many of whom I've known for a long time, and Lenny going back to, oh my gosh, over 20 years, so you've been doing a great job.
I just look young.
You just look young. But thank you very much, thank you both of you for coming out tonight, and thank you, we're on the Stanley Ruff, we're your Stanley Ruff folks. Thank you. I just have one more comment, and especially while all the teachers are still here, I want to take a time to just acknowledge that it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and Nurses Appreciation as well, and we certainly appreciate this has been a tough couple of weeks leading up to today, and we certainly appreciate all that you do for us sincerely, so thank you.
There's a sign-up sheet in the back. If you would like to speak, if you haven't signed the sheet, please sign it, okay? Lauren, would you go through the board participation, please?
The board welcomes public participation and asks that Speakers, please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School System.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we move, we want to get one other little congratulations out of the way. This board would like to congratulate Michelle Coelho. Today is her birthday. Congratulations.
Friday.
Okay, happy birthday on behalf of the board. Our first person to sign up is Corey and Anna.
Good evening, Board of Education members and cabinet members. My name is Corey Krafik, and this is my colleague, Anna White. I was born and raised in Danbury, and Anna was born in Portugal and immigrated to Danbury when she was 6. We are products of the Danbury Public School System. Anna has been a teacher in Danbury Public Schools for 27 years, and for the last 8 years, she has worked as a literacy coach. I have been a teacher in the district for 9 years and have worked as a literacy coach for the last 6 years. We're referred to in the district as literacy coaches, but we also like to call ourselves language arts specialists, as that's what our degree is in. We want to try to dissuade the idea that as language arts specialists, we do not interact with students. In our role, we are in classrooms on a daily basis. We model lessons and one-on-one conferences with students for teachers. We co-teach lessons. We administer assessments to students. We meet with grade level teams to support them in digesting and planning the components of our new literacy program. Our roles help teachers develop their craft and to support Tier 1 instruction. If anyone ever doubts that we are in front of children, please, like Lenny said, come feel free to shadow us for a day. We welcome you. Even when we aren't in front of children, the work that we do with teachers has a direct impact on student outcomes. This year, the district invested millions of dollars into our new literacy program for grades K through 3, The expense includes 11 coaching sessions with ARC staff developers. I can assure you that as helpful as these coaches are, they are only there to introduce topics and get teachers started. 11 coaching sessions scattered throughout the year are not nearly enough to support our teachers with the rollout of a new program. It's the work that we do as in-house coaches that has allowed our teachers to wrap their heads around the program and to become more comfortable and skilled with the implementation. Our core has many components, and it includes a digital platform to house data. Much of our work this year has supported teachers with the rollout. We are told every day how they could not have survived this year without our support. We know our teachers work hard with minimal resources, but we continue to take away the resources that they rely on. Our district currently attends science of reading training at the state level, and it has been said multiple times that there need to be more language arts specialists, not fewer.
In the 2017-2018 school year, literacy coaches positions were first consolidated, and we were asked to cover 2 schools rather than 1. That year, the district also formed the K-5 Literacy Committee to take a look at data and to gather teacher feedback. At the end of the year, a top recommendation that came from that committee was to reinstate a literacy coach at each of our elementary schools. We did so for 1 year. This year, our team is down to 4, and we each cover 3 buildings. Now, the district is eliminating all literacy coaches. We've always heard that we study history to learn from the mistakes of the past and not to repeat them. It is unfair to ask grades 4 and 5 teachers to roll out a new program without coach support. Teacher comfort and proficiency with instruction will impact our student performance. To quote one of our art coaches, Danbury just flushed away millions of dollars if they cut in-house literacy coaches to support this rollout. We have also had many teachers, especially those in grades 4 and 5, say to us, we can't do this without them next year. Elementary school sets the foundation for our students, and it is critical to keep resources that teachers need to do the work of shaping the youngest minds. Our students deserve the highest level of instruction, and our teachers deserve to be supported. We hope that you can see just how vital coaching is to ensure successful implementation of the new literacy program, and to ensure that students continue to make growth and progress toward being grade-level readers, writers, and thinkers. For all of our teachers and for all of our students' sake, let's do better, Danbury.
Jeanette? I'm sorry. Jennifer.
Good evening, Danbury Board of Education. My name is Jennifer Van Kuren. I'm the media specialist at Stanley Elementary School, and I've been doing that for the past 10 years. I'm here to implore you to support our media department, and would like to share a few basic facts. Multiple studies have demonstrated a clear link between school library media programs and student achievement, and those libraries are staffed by an experienced school library media specialists. Did you know that students in high-need schools like Danbury are almost twice as likely to graduate when the school library is staffed by a certified librarian? Or how about a few anecdotes about what we experience daily in areas that desperately need our expertise? Have you ever asked a classroom of students if someone needs them at home? Not very many hands go up. You see students on devices all the time, but do they know the rules of using them safely? Have you ever asked a student how they get the news? Right now, it's TikTok. Now more than ever, our students need guidance on navigating misinformation, digital citizenship, and skills to help think critically. Library media specialists are uniquely suited to help reinforce and strengthen these skills. As a district with a strong school library program and certified school library media specialists in every building, we help ensure Danbury students have the best chance to succeed. Media specialists show students how knowledge and how to get it is power. By removing this delivery of information, students are left one less path of enrichment that could impact their lives for the better. You know your job is a difficult one, and trust you will make the decision that best serves the interest of our students and upholds the quality of education in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, that was our last speaker. Did anyone else want to speak before the board, before we move on with the agenda? You haven't signed? Okay, going once? Okay. Did I have a motion for the consent calendar, Al?
Yes, I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the consent calendar exhibits 24-99 through 24-103 as recommended in accordance with the board process.
Motion made by Al, could I get a second? Seconded by Kate. Are there any questions concerning consent calendar? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion so carried. Thank you. Next is our educational staff representative.
Good evening. Good evening, esteemed board members. It's nice to see everyone. I'm joined this evening by the members of the NEA Danbury Executive Board, as well as a few of my amazing colleagues throughout the district. So thank you all for coming tonight. As you all know, this week marks Teacher Appreciation Week. We come before you this evening after a celebration. Just a little while ago, NEA Danbury hosted our annual Teacher Appreciation Banquet to celebrate all of our wonderful teachers and to honor this year's retirees. It was a lovely event that allowed for proper recognition of, in my opinion, unarguably, the hardest working and most dedicated group of teachers in Connecticut. Our celebration, however, was tangibly tempered by the looming news of potential impending teacher layoffs. It's hard to celebrate when we know that many of our members may soon face the news that their position has been eliminated. This, despite their commitment to Danbury Public School, despite their fortitude to work diligently for our students in an underfunded and grossly under-resourced and understaffed district, despite their willingness to work under, at times, dire working conditions. Just last week, NEA Danbury met with our superintendent and our HR director to discuss the process and contractual procedures for job elimination of our membership. Hire dates, certification status, seniority, who will be cut and who will remain, how deep would we need to go. It was a process that none of us at the table wanted to engage in, and we all sat at the table with the understanding of the devastating magnitude and impact of what we needed to work on. I do appreciate the open and transparent discussions that we've had between labor and management, as difficult as the work has been. And I do not envy the task of Dr. Casimiro that she's had to take on so soon in her new role. She is now having to pick up the pieces to make brutal funding decisions while her predecessor spent money in questionable areas. But throughout the process, I couldn't help feel angry that this is where we're at. We're the least funded district in the state of Connecticut, and we're sinking even lower. We were now in a place where we were sacrificing the very heart and soul of our district, teachers. People who have stuck with this school system through the most difficult of times. It was a loss too difficult to bear. And then came this week's good news of an additional $12 million of state funding brought to us through the hard work of our dedicated Danbury Democratic delegation. They shared our stories. The delegation, working with Mayor Owls, they fought for us, they lobbied for us. They made our leaders in Hartford listen and finally pay attention to the Danbury education story. Hope was temporarily restored for the moment, until the new worry became, how will this new money be spent? And so here we are this evening, so you can see our faces. And we need you to see us and hear us loud and clear. You can't take the people doing the most precious work, the work of educating our children, out of the Danbury Public Schools. You can't take our teachers away from their students. Our students can't afford to lose even one of us. And please forgive me. You know I respect and appreciate each and every one of you board members. But while we acknowledge that many of you are new to the board this year, it was indeed the entity of the Board of Education that allowed the district over years of budget approvals to budget teacher salaries using one-time extra monies without a plan of how to continue to pay. Board of Education, the entity of Board of Education, also more importantly, allowed the former superintendent to add many cabinet and administrative positions that we knew we couldn't pay for long-term. And the Board of Education also allowed for yearly, one-year renewals to cabinet members' contracts, creating an inability in the face of a fiscal cliff, creating that inability for any of their positions to be eliminated without first buying out their entire contracts. And lastly, Board of Education allowed our former superintendent to last year put forth a budget to the city that was $5 million short of what we actually needed. It was discussed at City Council. People pointed it out, and yet still we asked for $5 million less. That $5 million last year could have saved jobs this year. We, of course, are not blaming the board. We place the most blame on our city leaders of previous administrations who turned a willing blind eye as our budget headed for the fiscal cliff. Not just for one budget cycle, but for 20 plus years. Despite the warning siren, we were ignored. We were dismissed. Every year, our members, these folks behind me, rally outside of City Hall to beg for scraps for our students. And every year, nothing, indifference, no change. Hollow, politically motivated public praise of teachers, but no money, no change. Their unwillingness to come up with a workable 5, 10, 20-year funding commitment plan to address the growth of our school system and for our growing city has been an irresponsible injustice to our community for decades. And I don't think anyone in this room would disagree with me on that one. A city government can't say they support public education and teachers and then decimate our public education system with purposeful underfunding year after year after year. We can at least take some solace that our current mayor, Mayor Alves, and our city council have pledged to help dig us out of financial desperation. But we know this can't happen in one budget cycle. The damage is too deep. So here we are. In the proposed cuts that we looked at last week, all cabinet members get to keep their jobs. We have newly hired untenured administrators that for some reason have been untouchable amongst proposed cuts that we have seen. It is more than fair to say that the cuts at the administrative level did not match the proposed cuts at the teacher level. Don't get me wrong, really don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that we can afford to lose any positions within Danbury Public Schools. We all know every level has been underfunded and understaffed. Everyone knows we are short-staffed in every area, and every employee from the bottom to the top is overworked, cabinet and administrators included. However, I do think it needs to be openly discussed because we're going to be having these same conversations next year about the lack of equity in proposed cuts. In our first look at proposed cuts last week, teachers would clearly be taking the hardest hits. That would directly translate to our students suffering the greatest impact to their education. And while we understand that your current budget is still not enough for all the materials our staff and students need, especially when trying to open another school, we implore you, this new money, it must be used. It has to be used to save current teaching jobs. People, the educators directly working with our students, the people that we have invested in and in turn have invested in us. That should be non-negotiable. And so, we expect every single dollar of this new funding to be used to buy back people, our teachers, our staff. We expect this money will be used to save the livelihoods of our membership, to save our precious teachers, and to save our jobs. The jobs of our newest and most enthusiastic first and second year teachers who have already shown their commitment to our district by choosing to work here in our overcrowded and under-resourced classrooms when there's so many other choices. The jobs of our dedicated specialists, coaches, department heads, special area teachers, and elective teachers who have supported us in our classrooms and our schools. The jobs of our tutors and our support staff, for without them, our effectiveness in the classroom will be so greatly diminished. And to save our elementary media centers from potential closure. When we are at a place where we're even contemplating media center closures, we have sunk to dangerous, soul-crushing depths. And so, we're asking this board in front of us tonight, to think carefully about the decisions you'll be approving in the next few weeks. You are responsible for ensuring there are enough educators to educate our growing population. You're responsible for preserving the investment in people that you have already made. We look to you to make responsible decisions, equitable decisions, the decisions that will be the least impactful to our students. We look to you to ask tough and uncomfortable questions, push back, and be our voice and our hope going forward. We need you to help right our ship and save our teachers. And I do want to say, as a side note, these remarks were prepared in advance, but I will say Dr. Casimiro and I have spoken several times today, and there's hope in the horizon, so I'm hopeful that in the next couple of days, we will be able to work out some better circumstances for our folks. And our conversations have left me a little bit jubilant, let's just say. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of days we'll work that out. But I thank you for listening, and I hope you understand, I know you do, the importance of all these people standing in this room tonight and why every single job needs to be saved. Thanks so much.
representatives here tonight? Board subcommittee, we're gonna start with the Community Relation Committee.
The Community Relations Committee met a couple of weeks ago, and we had a robust conversation about some different ideas we have as far as raising additional funds for the district, as far as opportunities for the board to get out into the public and speak and build some of these connections. We'll have another meeting on May 29th, and we will be discussing a potential event at the start of the next school year, and a unified calendar of events for social and service organizations in the community that we can trust them.
Thank you, Kate. Lauren, Curriculum Committee.
We have an upcoming meeting on May 29th, and we'll be discussing more of the academy program.
Thank you, Lauren. Finance Committee, Mr. Janelle.
We had a meeting on May 7th. There was a Zoom meeting. Mrs. Fang, Mr. Weaver presented the 10-month ending to April 30th, 2024 financial statement. In essence, we discussed the favorable unencumbered balance of $441,000, which was $121,000 more than last month. When asked why, it was attributed to final adjusting entries regarding the deficit reduction action plan. Other cost centers that were looked at were put on the watch list, such as health insurance and special ed costs. We also discussed the W-2 issues, which Mr. Weaver indicated was resolved and the notice was sent out to the staff. That basically covers it.
Thank you, Mr. Janelle. Policy Committee, Kate.
Our next meeting is going to be May 20th. You'll see that there are some items on the agenda this evening for first read. Everybody's had a chance to look at those. Again, it's first read, so we will have another opportunity to review those as they come forward. We will be continuing with our 4,000 series next week.
I'd like to thank all my chair people for pulling your meetings together, and all board members who are not on that committee that join in to understand what's going on in all these different committees. So I thank you, committee chairs. Action item A, Teresa.
Repeal of policy 4113.4 job sharing. Motion that the Board of Ed repeal policy 4113.4 job sharing adopted November 25th, 2008, as recommended by Policy Committee and in accordance with 24-104.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Kate. Was there any discussion on that policy, either Kate or Kim?
Kim, I believe the way you explained it at the meeting was that we don't really do any job sharing at this point. Our positions are broken down to part-time blocks, so that there will be no need for this policy.
It's been a long time. It's been quite a long time since we've had two people truly job share, and I can only think of one instance. But you're right. What we typically will do is we adjust people's FTE status based on not only the needs but also getting as much time and coverage as we can. It typically happens in Kelly's group with service providers, but we do provide opportunities. I think Erin's job is another one where we typically have just over a 0.5 and just under a 0.5 so that she can be released to do her union work. So those are situations where without having a policy of job sharing, we've adjusted their FTE status so that they can.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. Action item B, Kate.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education accept for the first reading the following policies for exhibits 24-107 through 24-115 as recommended by the Policy Committee and in accordance with those exhibits.
Motion made by Kate, could I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any questions concerning the policies? They are all listed on your agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank
Thank you. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know there's a dire concern around the budget. Everybody here is concerned. You're at the table and you're at the perimeter, so we thank you for coming out, also to deal with the heat conditions that are in the building right now. So I want to I'm going to actually read a little bit to you. There's an email that I was going to send out tonight to kind of all staff. So I think since you're in the room, you'll get to hear it first, and I'll send that out to our folks. But it addresses sort of our reality, where we are in the process, and sort of the shifting tides that have seemed to happen a little bit this week, and to just sort of dispel any confusion around that, and to give you sort of the latest place where we've arrived. Again, I want to express my sincerest appreciation for every staff member in our school community. Every position, every person is important. Please know that. This is a very serious process, and we take it very serious. We need everyone. We can't afford to lose anyone. We're short positions across the district systemically on so many levels. We have vacancies that we can't fill. Some of those will help with some of the deficit reduction and not having to actually have a reduction of people, but at the same time, those are real positions that we do need as a system, and we'll talk more about that in the week ahead. But in the weeks leading up to today, and especially within the last week or so, I've been approached by parents, teachers, parents, board members, custodians, students, administrators about losing jobs, wondering what's going to happen to services and programs for students. Everyone is equally concerned. They all love the schools that we have here in Danbury, and they want to protect the children that we all serve. Every conversation that I've had so far has been heart-wrenching. We feel the stress and concern with every discussion. Again, to be certain, we cannot afford to lose anyone. With that said, we are at a crossroads. We are in uncharted territory. To prepare for our financial reality, we've looked at every creative solution. We've reimagined programming, service delivery, and have used a scalpel, not a sledgehammer, to analyze enrollment patterns across the school system. In our work, we continue to prioritize in our approach to this, the maintaining of safe schools, the delivery of service to our students, such as intervention, ESL, special education, social emotional supports to students, and the effective operation of support systems that help our school system run efficiently. I'm especially sensitive to maintaining a manageable class size. Anybody who watched the ad hoc committee, you know that I spent quite a bit of time on that slide in particular. Teachers cannot do their jobs when the class sizes are not manageable, particularly when we're working with high need students. So that is a super duper priority of mine. And I just want to convey that, particularly to the teachers, that that's something that I look at very, very carefully. I've met with school and union leaders. We've readied a list of potential reductions. We've created scenarios. We've looked at things. We've reworked different scenarios, all leading up into this week. We studied certification, as Erin mentioned. We analyzed available openings to determine how these puzzle pieces might fit and how we might be able to more deeply understand how any reductions would pose an effect to the school system. We determined how many staff we might be able to have that could fit into existing vacancies with a keen eye on reducing true job loss in the district. As we're nearing the end of that process, we learned about an additional infusion that was potentially coming to Danbury. So we put the brakes on things for a moment to better understand what that could be for Danbury. It's our understanding that from the city, we would be shared in part with an allocation. I think you've all heard about $12 million. And that money would come in some form, either directly or indirectly through improvements to the school system. So needless to say, we were elated to hear that news. That said, it is one-time ARPA money. So we, as in the past, we have to be very careful how we spend. But certainly welcome for the 24-25 school year. So in thinking of the next couple of years ahead, we'll still proceed with an eye on all of those areas where our school system is changing and shifting. At the moment, our elementary enrollment is declining, while our secondary enrollment is growing at a very fast rate. So in some ways, we have a mismatch of staffing and where those needs are right now. We need to address these shifts skillfully with efficiency with staffing choices. Similarly, our MLO populations continue to grow, as everyone in this room knows. So we must rethink our service delivery model for increased effectiveness and long-term sustainability. So there's a short game in this budget crisis that we have, but we also have to think about year on end, year over end, what that long-term game is for Danbury, and how do we best position our staff for that in our school system for survival, and not just to survive, really to thrive. So right now it's about survival, long-term it's about really having a school system that can deliver on the promise that we make to kids when we talk about our portrait of the graduate, and we talk about our visions for Danbury Public School System. So in spite of some of the infusions of funding, we're still going to have some challenges to keep our school system whole when we align to these enrollment patterns. Not every job is going to be saved. However, for 24-25, with the help of this one-time funds, we will drastically reduce the number of layoffs. So I feel really good about that, and I think everybody in the room should feel good about that. It doesn't get us out of the woods. We're going to be having to look at 25-26 with another critical eye, but still we have to land a plane for the next year and for this year. We're still landing our budget plane with $400,000 in our bank account, so we have a lot of work to do. Our teams are meeting around the clock to revisit all the decisions and reductions. So just as we kind of neared a refined process, we had to kind of throw it out the window for a moment and look again with an additional infusion of funding. What would it look like? How do we make smart choices to position with ourselves? So as we await those final numbers from our city partners, we stand ready to make some of those decisions and in collaboration with our folks. We're extremely thankful for the hard work of our city leaders and delegations who work tirelessly on our behalf. Because of these efforts, I'm hopeful about the future of Danbury, and I'm certain that despite the bumps ahead, we'll recover and become stronger for the future. We'll continue to work with our board closely before we have any final announcements. We're hoping at some point next week we'll be able to do that. And again, I thank everybody for coming out tonight. It is with the same passion that you came out tonight that I know you hold your profession as professional educators. So we thank you for that again. That's pretty much all I have to say. Again, I want to just let you guys know how much we appreciate you and your passion. And next week, hopefully, we'll have some more information for everybody, and it'll be much better news than it would have been had we not received that one-time funding. So thank you.
Dr. Casimiro, do you know if the current stream of funds comes with regulations, I don't want to say similar to the government funds where they had regulations, or have you heard any type of regulations or restrictions for the use of the funds?
Sure, I do know that there are ARPA funds, so there are strings attached to it, but you know, we'll find a way to make great use of those funds in any form that they come. We're going to get more clarity on what this particular lot of money, what those strings are, and we'll work around those parameters, and we should know that soon. I think the city is also still trying to understand, you know, exactly the parameters that they have as well. That will dictate how we're able to use the money. Also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Teresa, will you still be rearranging to the what your plans were?
So there's some rearrangement, as I mentioned. We definitely have a decline in enrollment in elementary. We have a strong need right now at the secondary. So a lot of the addition, if you remember, the lights on, the line, everything to the right of that budget. You know, the lights on is a little bit deceptive in the sense that that's all we needed to survive, and I want to be really clear about that. Because I think that there's a misconception that, well, if the city gives you so much money here, you guys are good, right? And the answer to that is that we still have, there was $10 million of need on the other side. We could have gotten away with a few million by not doing, you know, adding all those extra paraprofessionals, but there still is a pretty good need on that side. And one of the things I think that I was struggling with in looking at this is how do you reduce what you're already doing and fill that need, that growing need on the other side. And so, you know, you almost have to reduce in some areas in order to be able to add to others. And so Some things like enrollment, for example, those patterns are changing. And so regardless of any funding, we should be addressing enrollment changes. And I use the word scalpel, so every year that those enrollment patterns need to be analyzed. And if staff needs to shift, like we almost need to be doing that more on an annual basis with a little more explicitness, if you will, to address those things. Now, most often in the last 10 years, the addressing that meant we had to add. This is really the first time I've seen somewhat of a decline in the elementary in terms of sections. And so what, when looking at that though, we're gonna look at class size because we're not gonna blow up class size at elementary to put sections in at the high school. High school is right now exploding. They don't have enough, they're passive. We have any high school teachers here? Yeah, so class size, kind of outrageous. And now we have another 150, 160 kids coming up again. So they received a large amount coming in. The numbers coming in are larger than the numbers exiting. So very quickly that high school is filled up with great capacity, as you know. So it's really about shifting our enrollment patterns and certifying according to those patterns, adjusting staffing according to those patterns. So yes, to get your question, there will be still some rearrangement happening that's needed regardless. Yeah.
Juanita?
So I just want to get a clear understanding. So at this point, the eliminations are all at the professional educator level?
No, that's not accurate.
Okay.
That was in reference to enrollment patterns only for classrooms. I answered your question.
To the superintendent, just a question. Out of the 12 million that we're receiving, we are not receiving the complete 12 million from the city. We don't even know as of today how much out of that 12 million that's going to come to the district.
Correct, thank you for saying that. Yes, we do not expect to receive the entire 12 million, although I do understand that the majority of it will be used towards education, whether direct or indirect. The capital improvement projects and things like that. So one way or another, I think the majority of that will benefit our school system. The direct amount that we have in terms of the flexibility of use will be TBD over the next couple of days.
Michelle?
Can you just clarify the funds, federal funds, state funds, and?
I believe they're state. I believe they're leftover state funds for our money.
And you just said a major portion of it, so we're talking about 12, because I had 2, but you're saying.
I believe a good portion of it. Yeah. I'll know more.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other questions? You have anything else?
No, not tonight.
I know it's warm in here, and we really appreciate you coming out and stand here with us and listening to the boards and their reports. Thank you very much. We move on down the agenda. We have for the information exhibit 24-115. Please look in the back of your attachment and keep that page so you can reach it. And also, our schedule as far as graduations and all that, please, so we won't get our dates and things all mixed up. Put it on your wall, on your computer, okay? Thank you, and I thank Kara for doing this. She took time to do it.
That's amazing.
Okay, thank you. For information, and I sort of want to say this, I have a discussion. I sort of want to know how the board feels about this. And we don't have to do it. I was just thinking, we usually have our meetings starting at 7. Is anybody uncomfortable with starting our meetings at 6? It's something to think about. Go ahead.
Would that affect having like committee meetings before? That's the only thing, because having committee meetings at 4:30 would be a little tough.
Yeah, if we do it 6:30, maybe something like
5, I mean, but that would, I think it's a great idea, but I think committee meetings might be tough to have them before the board meeting.
Yeah,
You know?
So, you know, it was just something I just thought about, you know, as we get older and during the winter months, it's hard to see. And it's a little bit easier, we have a long agenda to come in and get out of here at 6 or 6:30 and get out of here by 7:30, at least 8:45. So it's just something to think about. We still can stay with 7. I just wanted to throw it out to the board. Okay, so we stay. Any other members would like to bring up any type of information to the board at this time concerning any PTOs that you have visited in schools?
I went to the DHS one. It's interesting, they're winding up for the year, the PTO. And they elected new members, new cabinet members. And the only thing is, it's in the library at the high school, and the acoustics are poor without a decent microphone.
I don't think they can hear what you're saying in the back speaking microphones.
Oh.
I attended the DHS PTO and they elected new cabinet members, and it was tough listening to them because I was in the back and their microphone I don't think was working. But it was the last meeting for the year.
Thank you, Teresa. I found that out too, watching, attending the citywide PTO meeting. It seemed like everybody's sort of slack, you know, no one's coming through. And so, you know, those reports that were given were, you know, this is the end of the school year, so no one was going too much. The citywide PTO meeting that was held on Monday night, they did have Erica Hayes. She spoke, and she did an excellent job in explaining how funds and how state decide how much is coming to which area, and she broke it down. And it was very good, even though I had heard her before, not the type of information, but I thought it was very educational, and I enjoyed it. And Dr. Casimir was there, and you know, I thought she did an excellent presentation. We all set for the Memorial Day parade.
Good to go.
And last thing, Al, we had a survey, and Al and I had a conversation about the survey. I thought it was an excellent survey, and we're gonna work on, you know, all those that didn't receive it, go to it, read it, don't fill it out. We're gonna have a time that we're gonna discuss. That's gonna be the Board of Ed survey, okay? And we're gonna hope, our plan is to get it done before school closes, okay? So Al, thank you very much for putting it together. It was excellent, thank you. If there's no other business, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa.
Second.
Seconded by Lauren. All those in favor, can I hear aye?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Thank you all. Okay.